Hi Year 4 and welcome to Monday afternoon's lesson. This week we're going to be starting a new topic and it's a science topic this time, and we're going to be learning all about sound. So let's have a think. What is sound? What do we mean by sound? And sound is anything that you can hear. Okay, we've got a nice little picture there just to show you. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to watch a video showing lots of different types of sounds, and I want you to see if you can spot all the different things that are making the sounds in the video. So I'm just going to share the video now. So hopefully you spotted lots of different things making sounds in that video. I saw there was an alarm clock, there was a clock hand ticking, there were loads of different musical instruments, there was a traffic warden blowing a whistle. So there's lots and lots of different things around us that are making sound all of the time. But how is sound made? Sound is made when a material vibrates. So let's just clarify what vibrates means. When something vibrates, it's a verb that means when something shakes or trembles rapidly. And you might think of it, do you remember when we were learning about earthquakes before Christmas? We talked about the earth shaking or trembling, and another way we could say that is it was vibrating, it was shaking rapidly or trembling rapidly. And then vibration is the noun that means the same thing. So vibrate is the verb when something vibrates, and if you talk about a vibration, that's the noun. So it's something that when something shakes or wobbles very fast. Okay, so we're saying that sound is made when something vibrates or moves. Let's try this now. When we talk or sing or shout, we make a noise. We ourselves make a noise. Put your fingers on your neck, just here, and see if you can carry on talking. See if you can feel something through the tips of your fingers. You should be able to feel a vibration in your neck. And that's because our vocal cords in our neck, when we speak, they move, and that's what makes the sound. Okay. So now I want to show you something else that vibrates and makes a sound. I've borrowed a ukulele, and I'm going to hold it right up to the camera, and I'm going to show you that what happens when I move the string. Okay, so watch closely. When we pluck a string on a guitar or a ukulele, it vibrates, and hopefully you can see that really clearly on the video. It vibrates, and that's what makes the sound. So you should be able to see it kind of quivering and wobbling as it vibrates and makes that sound. I've got one more thing to show you, this. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this okay. So this is, I have got a drum here. Whoops. Hopefully you can see on my drum, I have got some paper clips. And when I hit the drum, the skin of the drum is going to vibrate, and you should be able to see the paper clips moving as you hear the sound. So you can see that when I hit the drum skin vibrates, and that's what makes a sound. And you can tell it's moving because you can see those paper clips. So we can make objects vibrate in lots of different ways. We're now going to watch a video about the different families of musical instruments and find out a little bit more about how they vibrate and how they make sound.
It's easy to make a sound. All you have to do is make something vibrate. You could twang a string or a rubber band, or you could blow down something, or you could bang something together, or you could scrape something, or you could shake something. There are 3 families of musical instruments. This is one of them, strings. As you can see in this guitar, when you pluck the string, it vibrates. That vibration gets passed on to the air, and that's how you hear the sound. And here's another stringed instrument from India called a gopichan. The second family we're going to look at is wind instruments. These work by blowing into a tube and making the air inside vibrate. Listen to these panpipes. You can do the same thing with a horn. This instrument's called a balafon. It belongs to the last family of instruments called percussion. These produce vibrations when you bang them, and you can do exactly the same thing with a pair of bongos.
So there are 3 families of different instruments. We had percussion instruments that the man showed us in the video, and these are instruments where the sound is made when an object hits another object and that vibrates. So it's usually when you hit something or scrape something. Okay, the second family was a family of stringed instruments, and with these instruments the sound is made by vibrating a string, by moving a string. And then the third family was a family of wind instruments. And in the wind instruments, sound is made when the air inside the instrument vibrates. So the air inside the tube that the man was blowing down was vibrating, and that's what makes the sound. So let's look at some different instruments and try and see if you can work out which family they are in. Are they a percussion instrument? Are they a stringed instrument where the sound is made by a string vibrating? Or are they a wind instrument where the air is trapped inside something and that is what's vibrating and making the sound? So the first instrument I've got is a castanet. And this is a castanet here, and this is how it's going to make a sound. Okay, so pause the video and have a think. Is it a stringed instrument? Is it a percussion instrument? Or is it a wind instrument? And hopefully you got that right, that is actually a percussion instrument, because the sound is made when the 2 parts of the castanet hit each other and vibrate, and that's what makes the sound. Okay, my second instrument I've got for you this afternoon, I've already showed you once, I'm going to show you again, is my ukulele. And I would like you to pause the video and have a think. Is this a percussion instrument? Is it a stringed instrument? Or is it a wind instrument? And hopefully you got that right. That was a stringed instrument. You can see the strings on this one quite easily, and you can see that it's the strings that are vibrating. The strings move, everything else stays the same. Okay, got 2 more for you. The first one, you can probably hear it before I've even got it out, is this one. Listen to this one. Okay, so pause the video. Is it a stringed instrument? Is it a wind instrument, or is it a percussion instrument? Okay, this is actually a percussion instrument because, again, in a bell, inside each of these little metal things, you can't see very well, but inside there's a little metal tongue. And when I shake the bells, the little metal tongues shake inside and they vibrate and they cause the outside of the bell to vibrate, and that's what makes the sound. And my last instrument for you just now is this one, which is a recorder. I used to play when I was at primary school. And I'm going to play a little bit for you, and then I want you to tell me whether you think it is stringed, percussion, or wind. Okay, have a think. What do you think? Is that a stringed instrument? Can you see any strings? Is it a percussion instrument? Is something hitting something and making that vibration? Or is it a wind instrument where the air is vibrating inside the instrument? Okay, so hopefully you got that one right. When I blow, I'm blowing air inside the recorder, and when I blow that, it vibrates inside it, and that's what makes the sound. So it's a wind instrument. So today, your task is going to be to have a go at making a musical instrument from what you can find at home. Remember, your instrument could be a percussion instrument, and that means that the sound is made when an object hits another object and vibrates. It could be a stringed instrument, and the sound where the sound is made by a string vibrating, or it could be a wind instrument where the air inside the instrument is what is vibrating. So I have found some things around my house, and hopefully you can find some things like this at your house, and we can see if we can make some different instruments. The first things that I was thinking about kind of percussion instruments, so things that you hit. And I found myself some drum beaters in the kitchen. Make sure you check with your grown-up before you take anything from the kitchen. A lot of what I found is from the recycling or from things that kind of packaging and things that people don't need anymore, but make sure you check with whoever it is at home first. So I found in the kitchen, I found a drum beater, and this could be my drum. So this is a, or maybe the edge of it might make a better sound. Okay, so I've got a drum and a drum beater. That's a percussion instrument because when I can actually feel it when I hit it. I can feel the whole saucepan is vibrating, so that's a percussion instrument. Maybe you've got one of these sorts of drums at home. If you're like the Southwood family, we've eaten a lot of these over Christmas. So maybe you've got one of these at home that you could use as a drum. And you can see, and again, you can probably feel it as well. It might make a better sound if I put it down. The top of the box is vibrating, so it's a percussion instrument again. Maybe you've got a box at home, like a shoe box, some other kind of box that you can use as a drum. Okay, so maybe you could make a percussion instrument. Maybe you've got like an old coffee jar or something like that you could hit, and that makes a slightly different sound. And sometimes if you hit the other end of it, the top is vibrating there, whereas the lid of the jar is vibrating here. You hear slightly different sounds. Maybe you want to mix it up and use a different kind of beater as well, so you might have something else that you want to use instead. You could also make a percussion instrument that's a bit more like a shaker. I'm just going to see if I can move my camera down to show you. So if you've got a carton like this, or a plastic bottle, or a Tupperware jar, or something like that, you could actually put something inside the jar. So I've just got some dried beans here, but maybe you've got some rice, or maybe you've got some Lego bricks or something like that at home that you can use. If you use something like rice, you can use it to eat again afterwards, because you're just using to shake around. It's not going to actually break it. You can put that inside and you can make a shaker. So when I shake that, the beans inside it are moving against the sides of the thing, and that's what makes the vibration, and that's what means we can make you hear the sound. Maybe you've got marbles at home, marbles in a jar, and you can actually see them vibrating when I move it, and you can hear them at the same time because the vibration is traveling to your ears. So those are all percussion instruments that you could make with what you can find at home, but maybe you'd also like to have a go at making a stringed instrument. So I have got some elastic bands here, you can see, and I'm just going to choose one or two big ones because remember, when you're making a stringed instrument, the string is vibrating and that's what makes a sound. You can just do it between your fingers. I've got here a lovely margarine box, and I'm going to use that to put my elastic bands round. So if I can choose one that's a slightly different width, maybe. Got a low one here. Oops. Got elastic bands all over the place. So now you can see, hopefully, I've got two elastic bands stretched around, and they are quite stretched. And when I twang them, just like on a guitar, they vibrate and make a sound. Ooh, that's quite nice. Okay, brilliant. So you could try and make a stringed instrument with elastic bands and something that you might find in your recycling. Make sure it's clean first. You don't want your guitar to have butter all over it or anything like that. And the final thing I thought you could have a go at making, if you're feeling brave, I think this is the hardest. Making a wind instrument is the hardest. You could try blowing down a cardboard tube. Maybe you've got something that goes inside like wrapping paper or something like that. Or you can have a go with a plastic bottle. You can put some water in it if you want, or you can just have it as an empty bottle. I've got one here, I think it's still got some soap in it, but anyway. And you can try blowing over the top of the bottle, which will make the air inside the bottle vibrate and you'll hear a sound. Hopefully this is going to work. Okay, so have a look and see if you can have a go at that. You have to blow sort of kind of across the top of the bottle, so it's quite difficult. Or like I say, you could try blowing down a plastic tube or a cardboard tube to make a wind instrument. Okay, so your assignment for today, Monday afternoon, is to look around your house for some materials to make into a musical instrument. I've given you loads of ideas there, but I'm sure you can think of some more. And then you can have a go at making your instrument, which might just mean playing it. You can try and make a stringed instrument using elastic bands. You can try and make a wind instrument using plastic bottles or other kind of bottles or tubes that you might have around the house. The easiest one, if you're not sure what to do, is probably to try and make a percussion instrument, to try and make a drum of some sort or a shaker of some sort. So have a look at those and really think how the sound is being made in your instrument. Then we would like you to take a photo of you and your instrument or a short video, maximum 5 seconds, because otherwise it'll be too big to send to our inbox. Okay, so three or 4 second video of you playing your instrument. And then can you email that to your teacher? So either y4maple@australiabyronwood.org or y4chestnut@australiabyronwood.org. There is also a music video which I found, which is talking about playing percussion instruments and finding a beat. And it's actually got some really great tracks that you can play along with. So I'm going to also post a YouTube video where you can play along. You can learn to play some rhythms and some beats on your instrument and hopefully play along with that track. Again, if you want to send us a short video clip of you doing that or a photo of you doing that, we'd love to see it. Okay, have lots of fun and I hope you enjoy your afternoon.